This professional development plan is by Emily Flatt and is intended for use in the Education 630 course at Liberty University. Why should a teacher join a professional organization? There are many different types of professional organizations. Two types include educational unions and content-specific professional networking organizations. Unions serve the purpose to establish better working conditions for teachers that will benefit students. Some of the work unions have done have helped establish classroom size limits, the provision of quality curricular resources, and increased amounts of student support services and personnel. Litvinov, 2022. Content-specific organizations focus primarily on providing professional development and collaboration for teachers of specific content areas or ages, such as teachers of gifted and talented students, special education students, STEM teachers, and many others. The ways that professional organizations can benefit teachers are numerous. One of the most common ways is the provision of professional development opportunities through conferences, journals, and blogs. Many organizations also provide legal counsel and protection as needed, and unions provide collective bargaining as well as representation in educational governing bodies, giving teachers a much-needed voice. A final benefit is the opportunity for teachers to collaborate with their peers through the provision of professional learning communities. The first resource from the International Society for Technology and Education, ISTE website, that I will discuss is a blog entitled Turn Your Classroom into a Personalized Learning Environment by Robin Houghton, 2022. The premise of the article is that technology has made forms of one-on-one instruction more feasible in recent years. In her reflection, the author describes some tips that helped her while transitioning her classroom from a traditional learning approach to a blended learning approach. Those tips are: number 1, learn from others through collaboration. Number 2, use the technology you have, which could include students' personal devices, including cell phones. Number 3, let students make choices. Number 4, flip the content delivery. Instead of completing lectures in class and assigning relevant homework, the students would watch a recording of the lecture or other relevant video at home and then would complete their assignments in class. And number 5, assess as you go, which connects to the importance of using formative assessment to develop curriculum. I found this article to be extremely helpful to see a new perspective on the blended learning approach. Transitioning to a blended learning model would benefit my students due to the increased amount of differentiation possibilities. Capitalizing on student choice would also help to increase student engagement. However, the flipped classroom approach would be difficult to implement in the K-2 classroom, as well as the use of students' personal technology resources. I feel that this resource would be beneficial to teachers of all student populations. However, there are portions of the article that would be more beneficial to high school teachers. The second resource from ISTE that I will be discussing is a blog titled 5 Surprising Results of a Self-Paced Classroom by Catherine Stanley, 2021. In this article, Stanley discusses the challenges she faced in creating a curriculum that motivates students, allows for students to take responsibility for their learning, and gives students the opportunity for choice. She decided to try a self-paced learning approach. Self-paced learning is an approach that gives students the agency to choose the direction of their learning while the teacher acts as a guide. The author describes several benefits to using self-paced learning in her classroom. Number 1, movement opportunities within the classroom. Number 2, organization of learning materials made it easier for students to access what they needed. Number 3, the teacher is able to focus on the relevant content. Number 4, students worked at a quicker pace as they were more engaged and less distracted. And number 5, since assignment turnaround time was quick, the teacher was able to give more effective, personalized feedback in a timely manner. I was tremendously impressed with the idea of the self-paced classroom. Personally, I benefit from a self-paced environment in my graduate studies, and I can see where the opportunity for student choice in a self-paced classroom would be beneficial. If I were to implement this in my K-1 classroom, I would have to ensure that sufficient preparation is done in advance so that the choices would be readily accessible to my students. I believe that the information presented in this article would benefit all student populations. The third resource I have chosen is a blog entitled 5 Strategies to Embed Assistive Learning in Every Classroom, Not Just Special Ed, by Jennifer Snelling, 2021. I chose this article due to the fact that while I do not have a special education certification, I occasionally will have special education students in my classroom via push-in programs, and I wanted to better understand some of the resources available to assist their learning. In this article, the author discusses the difficulties that general education teachers had during the remote learning phase of the pandemic in mastering the Universal Design for Learning (UDL) framework to help struggling learners. The author also describes 5 different adaptive technologies teachers can use that are aligned with the UDL framework to help students succeed. Number 1, text-to-speech can not only help students with visual impairments, but can also assist students who are less comfortable with reading. Number 2, digitally highlighted text can help students organize their thoughts when reading from a digital resource. 3, closed captioning can be used even when students are toggling between tabs on a computer. 4, coupled with social stories, students can use virtual reality to practice new social situations that may be difficult to replicate in the classroom. And number 5, translation tools can help provide communication in a student or family's home language. I was impressed to see how much adaptive technology can be used to make simple accommodations that may be included in a student's IEP. Text-to-speech can be especially helpful for my younger students who have not yet developed their decoding skills. I have also had the opportunity to extensively rely on language translation programs for my personal travels, but look forward to using it to reach out to families in their home language. This article details many tools that would benefit students that have learning disabilities and students of other languages, but it can also assist students who are struggling but have not received a diagnosis. The 2022 ISTE Educational Technology Conference, also known as ISTE Live, was held in the summer of 2022. The conference offered both in-person and hybrid professional development opportunities to learn about new developments in educational technology. Some of the topics featured sessions included innovation in early childhood or elementary, creativity and creation tools, curriculum planning and evaluation, and social emotional learning, among a multitude of others. ISTE 2022. If I could have attended the 2022 conference, one of the sessions that I would have attended was Excite, Enhance, Engage. Ready-to-use tools, strategies, and resources with Kristen Angeli and Morgan Vondenstein. This session caught my attention due to its focus on engaging students. I like that the advertisement promotes that the speakers will provide programs and tools that are ready to use in the classroom so that they can be implemented quickly to the benefit of my students. The featured ISTE standards around which the presentation was built are focused on providing active learning opportunities for students that foster creativity. Another session that I would have especially enjoyed is a formative assessment playground, using Google tools for creative assessment, sponsored by Google and presented by Evan Mosier and Dr. Mandy Tolan, ISTE 2022. I was interested in this session because I have previously used Google Forms to conduct very simple assessments, and I am interested in seeing what else can be done. I also like that this could be easily utilized through Google Classroom. I am always looking for better ways to conduct frequent assessments of my students, so I like that this session is assessment focused. Please see the final slide for references used in this presentation.